All right, and so here the agent will just automatically populate each idea based on whatever we programmed it to do. So for this one, it's all the different kind of variations of blogs, microblogs, keywords, calls to action, scripts, everything. It'll do everything. It'll capture whatever you want and then still populate that one item that you created. Today, I want to show you how to build and integrate your own AI agents into Notion databases and give those agents tasks to automate a lot of your work. We're going to start with some content creation and how to take a content idea to infinity, all using AI agents. So what you're going to need, a Notion account, which is free. You're going to need a Make account, which is free. And you're going to need an OpenAI account, which is also free, but you will need a subscription for this one to access their API. Cool. Step one, we want to make a new database in Notion. You can do this pretty straightforward. Let's just do it here for case study example. So just go /database, new database inline, right? That's going to be your database. In this video, I'm going to use a pre-built template, which you can get for free. The link is in the description below. Basically the same thing. It'll just make this a whole lot easier if you want to go down that route. So step two, let's head over to Make and start setting up our agents. So I'm in Make right now. Make is the same thing as Zapier. It's the same deal. It's an automation software, really good, really helpful. I like Make because you can figure out where things are having errors, can kind of help with error correcting and stuff as well. You can also use Zapier to do this. It's pretty much the same thing. So let's set up our agents. So what we want to do is once you've created your account, you just want to go create new scenario. Our scenario is basically an automation setup. When Y happens, X, Y, and Z should happen. Now we're in our scenario, we want to go and build our automation. So you just want to click plus and just type in Notion. There we go. Now it's going to ask you what it should do. You got heaps of options here. We'll build this out over time. But for this one, we want to do watch database items. So that's triggers when a database item is created or updated. So now what you're going to want to do is connect your Notion to Make, right? So to do that, you go up here, Notion. You'll basically log into your Notion through Make. It's a very straightforward process. Next, we want to do by created time, all right? And then we're going to find the database ID. So to do this, you can head over to Notion, open up your database, right? So you just want to go open full page. And now in that full page, you just want to go to the URL and everything after the .so slash, right? Those numbers all the way up to the question mark, that's your database ID, okay? But an easier way to do it, and you can just double check yourself, is you go YouTube, just go into the search bar, YouTube, content, matrix, just type in your database name. It'll do a search. No matches found. Sad. All right, let's go back here. Let's just copy paste our database ID name. Come back here. Search, query search. Let's go. All right, cool. Here we are. So now it's going to bring up a whole bunch of bits and pieces. So sometimes it's a little bit sensitive. So yeah, just muck around with it a little bit. It's not exactly like just click this and do this. Sometimes it's a little bit sensitive, but as you can see, YouTube content matrix. All right. So we've got that there. Limit, just leave it to. Limit is basically like how many items are going to go through a single automation cycle. So you can just do one, you can do two, but for this, doesn't really matter. So just go okay. Awesome. So now we've connected Notion to our Make automation. Okay. And now every time that Notion database is updated, this automation is watching it. Okay. So next we go add module. So now we want to make our first agent. So we want to go to ChatGPT. You're going to need to connect your ChatGPT automation to your OpenAI account. And so it's the same deal as we did in Notion and kind of connecting it. But what we want to do is we want to head to OpenAI, right? I'm assuming you guys have your account set up and you've got your subscription. You want to head to Playground and you want to go to API keys, okay? This is where you create a new key, you copy paste that key over into the Make prompt, okay? It'll walk you through this. It's very, very straightforward. And you just copy paste your API key into that. It's going to create the connection. And now every time that you run an automation through Make, it's going to make a call to your OpenAI API key. All right, cool. Now let's go to create a completion. All right, this is going to be your first AI assistant. Okay, so now let's head back to our content matrix and let's create an idea. So the benefits of integrating AI automation into content creation. Okay, let's say that's our idea. So we go back here. Now we want to select 3.5 turbo. You can go ChatGPT 4 version 4 as well, which is a bit more expensive. And now we want to give it its role. So go give it the assistant role. Okay, this is where you give it its context, right? So this is going to be its role, and this role is what it makes it an agent. So this is a really very, very straightforward way to make an agent, but in doing so, this is going to be its task. It's going to do this repeatedly over and over again. So we can use this prompt. I'll put a version of that in the comments on this video. You can build this out to kind of whatever you want. I'll get into the actual details now. So let's going to paste this prompt in here. Okay, it's hello ChatGPT, acting as my content planner. I'd like you to make a detailed blog outline for my upcoming post. The blog title is, okay. So now this is where we start to link our Notion idea to ChatGPT. So to do that, you can see as soon as you click within this message box, it's gonna come up with this search items. Okay, nothing to be freaked out about. We're gonna walk through this super slowly. All these items, this is where we're gonna pull the data from. Okay, so we're basically importing data from Notion and we're gonna plug it through Make into ChatGPT. So now if you kind of want to work out what it is that you're trying to pull from, you could do this with anything. I'm just going to teach you the fundamentals here. So if you go within your Notion database, see how this column is content details. Now for any default database that you make in Notion, this column is just going to be called name. Okay, and in name that's when you can create an entire database item, right, that you can open, and it's going to have its own kind of page, right? So for example, see, I click on this and it's its own page, right? Can't really do that in these other ones. These are all you infill it, okay? So now going back to make, now we want to go down and find that item. So it's right at the bottom, content details. We go here, text, and then we just go content, right? We got the text content there. So now we click OK. Oh, all right. Now what we want to do is, now it's watching that item, and we're going to go add another module. Okay, we're going to go Notion. Now we want to select in Notion, append a database item content. Okay, this means it's going to take the original database item that it just noticed, and it's going to append it with the information that we just created in ChatGPT. So go append database item ID. Okay, now we want to pull the same database item ID from the watch module. Okay, so select database item ID. Now this is what's going to allow us to automatically update our content idea with our agent's information. So now we've got that. Now we've got database item ID. Let's go content objects, type. We just want to go paragraph, step by step. And now in text, okay, we're going to go add item. Under the content box, we're going to pull the content from our AI agent. So we go here is, see, you got ID, object, created. We want to go choices. Okay, we want to go to message, and we want to go to content. Link, we don't need to worry about anything. So yeah, this is basically the formatting of the text. If you're just happy with plain text, don't really have to do anything. You just select OK. Now we just go run once. As you can see, it's watching the database and now it's running that item through ChatGPT. Now, as it's running that item through ChatGPT, it's going to start to take that content idea and it's going to start populating it with the prompt that I gave it. It should take less than a minute. You'll know how it's functioning because you'll see this bar slowly populating just here. Okay, cool. Now, that's the hardest part. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it's just linking those three together. That's the hardest part we're going to do. Now we're just literally just going to repeat exactly what we just did, but we're going to give more context to the agent. So as you can see, it's just redoing another item ID because remember I said do 2 runs every time. If you want to just do one, just do one. If you want to do 3, do 3, but this is what happens. Now also make sure that you save. Make is one of those platforms that just doesn't have an autosave feature. It's amazing. Don't know why it doesn't have autosave, but just make sure you save that. If you run into any errors, just reload. Now play around with that, and after a couple of tries, you should find when you go to your OpenAI agent here, and you go to select the item ID, you can go here, back down to content details, and you can see that's the line item. Web3 tokenomics is the future of e-commerce. That's the idea. That's the idea that it's going to put through ChatGPT. Okay, so now we just go okay. Let's go append that database item ID. We're going to put the content that ChatGPT has created for us. So let's go texts. Let's go message. And here we go. There's the content. Web3 tokenomic, blah, blah, blah. So that's how you know you've got like a connection, so let's run the connection again. Now you can see it's completed that initial automation. All right, so let's go back and kind of have a look at what we've got here. So this one didn't populate. Okay, cool. So sometimes it takes some mucking around, and because I already had some items in here, it read those ones instead. So this is just FYI, but obviously you can see it works. It's created an outline. I was doing a video about Grok AI, which was Elon Musk's AI system. And so as you can see, it's gone through and it's created a blog outline, right? Because that's what I asked the agent to do. So now it knows that, okay, cool, it's populated this. Let's go back and let's go back. And basically we're just going to repeat this same process again, but create another agent to expand that content out a little bit more. Okay, so we go back here, create a completion. Let's go again. It's GPT-4. Okay, let's go as assistant. Okay, but now this time we can get the assistant, our agent, to reference the last completion by ChatGPT, the last agent, and get them to work together to create more content. Okay, give us more ideas. Now this is just an example here, but I'm trying to explain to you the foundational understanding, so how you can link these things together and create your own little AI agent workforce. So I'm going to use this other prompt basically where I want to take the blog outline and I want it to create microblogs. So I'm going to include this prompt as well, just so you can use it as an example. But let's paste this in here. Okay, so now I want to divide the original blog post, okay, which is, let me select it. I want to divide the original blog post. Okay, so I want to go again back to what we got, which was message. All right, cool. Content. So now it knows I want you to take the last agent's response, okay, and separate it into microblogs. I want these microblogs to be 200, 700 words, etc., etc. So I give it a framework. I'm explaining it to it exactly how I want it to execute the task. And so the more information you can give it here, the better. This is where you're using a bit of your creativity and prompt engineering. So we'll build this out, and you know what else we can do? We can even get it to reference other items within the database. So for example, within that database that I've created, I'm like, hey, I want to create a video. This is my video idea, but I'm going to allocate, say, the funnel stage of that video. Is it like top of funnel or something, or is it the awareness stage? Yeah. And so I'll just go here. What is the funnel stage, right? So let's go back. Let's go back to our content matrix, right? So I click on Grok AI. I'm like, these are just items that I've added here. It's beyond the scope of this video now for me to show you how to make all these items in a Notion database. But if you want that, just let me know and I'll do a separate video on that. But basically, if I'm going to do, okay, cool, we're doing it at the awareness stage. Okay, so if people are like watching my video, I'd like to become aware of the content that I'm making, and I'd like to tailor my blog to suit an awareness stage. So now down here, I can click that. I find funnel stage, I just go name, and that's it. That's done. It's going to reference that stage. Okay, and now I'm just going to repeat the same thing. I want it to append the same database item. So we go here, append a database item content. Okay, so I just repeat that. I go back to the original database ID. Okay, so I go back, I go scroll right down to the bottom because this is the first stage of our automation. So we go database item ID. So it knows, okay, I'm going to reference that. Then we go paragraph, add item, text, content, and now, again, we just repeat the same message. So then select OK, and let's run it again. So now the automation's looking for a new database item, what's been most recently updated, and it's going to run the same automation again. So it might take a couple of tries to run this through to make sure each step is connected, but this is how you can kind of create your own agents that interact with your Notion database and build out content for you automatically. So as you can see, it's like scanning. Now it's running through, it appended the database item. So it's just updated our database item. And now it's running it through the second stage of our automation. Cool. Now that's done. let's go back to our Notion database. Okay, cool. As you can see, it started to populate with the microblogs, right? So it's taken all the headings and subheadings that I created, and it's done it for the Web3 and tokenomics. It skips the last database item because it's looking for a new database item, and now it's started to populate it. So the trick is, when you're doing this, the more complex that you make this, and the more complex you make your AI prompts in your completions, you want to make sure you're referencing the last message or a message within the automation that you're making. Simplest way to do that is just go choices, just down here, go to message, and get the content. That's basically how you can create an entire kind of content automation system. The thing is, like with your agents, you can build them out to do whatever you want. So in this instance, I'm making a content automator. The purpose of this was, when I get a content idea, type the idea on my phone. Once I've typed the idea, I know that this automation is going to pick it up. It's going to convert that idea into a blog, into a video, tell me the keywords. It can convert those keywords into, Instagram captions. It can do whatever I want because I've given it the instructions, and I just make sure it's always appending the same database item. Now I repeat this automation to take a content idea and convert it into a long form blog, microblog, a tweet, Instagram captions, quotes, but you can do whatever you like, so long as you understand how to link these items together. And that's all you got to do. By the way, you can also find me on Instagram at PeteFrost 3.0. I just start to deliver this stuff in bite-sized chunks, so it's a little bit faster if you're kind of into that. So the reason that we're using Notion is it's a great free software, and it easily connects to other softwares like Make, Zapier, ChatGPT, and can house information like this in a clean, easy format. That's why I like it, but you can also use Google Sheets, Google Forms, whatever you want. I'll make some more videos of that in the future. So that's how you do it. Let me know in the comments how you go. For those interested, I've been reading this book called XO Organizations, and I've been inspired to build my business using this exponential model. I'm not trying to remove humans or automate everything, so it's just this lifeless AI making stuff. But my goal here is to automate all the boring and repetitive stuff. If I have an idea, I don't want someone to have to sit there and extrapolate that idea into content, right? I want that idea to make content and build that out as much as it possibly can with the directions that me and my team give it, and then have a team member review it, put their creative eye over it, put their creative skill set to it, and then make it into something great. I want to automate a lot of this white noise stuff that doesn't really need a human to be doing it, and allocate that as much as I possibly can to AI agents and automation tools. All the links for this stuff is in the description, so I hope that helps. I will see you guys on the next one.